morning, everybody. Here we are again, a new day. Great parents and great leaders, because parents are the first leaders children experience. Great teachers prepare the next generation well. And here we have today a memory that the church conserves from the earliest apostolic times. Two disciples of Paul. Just like Jesus trained the 12 and the key women in ministry, so also Paul has been training Timothy and Titus. And it's good for us to ponder that, because it's not just one big hero guy. The generations that follow need to be well prepared and trained, formed. The word formed is very interesting, because you train a dog and you can train people to do technical things, but to form them means that it involves their mind and their heart, their values, their will, their development of their relationship fields. It's not just training, it's more than training. Training can be a little technical, and that's fine, it has its place. But forming people to be transformed, it's a path of transformation. And we give form to things, but then people are not objects, but they are subjects, so we lead them, inspire them, help them to become the great person that they're called to be, to fulfill a wonderful mission that is entrusted to them. We're not the ones that decide the mission, or that decide which people we have beside us in first place. That's Providence. And Providence has placed Timothy in. There's also a very beautiful thing about family today that Paul already knows, even though it's the very first generation of Christians, the grandmother and the mother of Timothy. And that's very interesting, because it means that already in this very, very early moment of the church, it's generation to generation, just like the biblical words. Tell your children's children what God did for your father's fathers. It's the connection of generations. And that's a marvelous treasure. And it's one of the greatest sources of fulfillment and confidence going into the future. And understanding that I received a treasure in the passing moment of history, which I was called to enrich. And now others have received that treasure, well passed on, like a good baton, well passed on. And then it is now available to the coming generations. And each generation has responsibility. And the better start we give to each generation, the greater blessing is passed on to the next generation. And what grandparents wouldn't like to see their grandchildren and great-grandchildren receiving the best handing on of the faith, of a culture of love. It's not self-centered, that's not narcissistic, that's not self-seeking, but that is free to love, to give of oneself, even heroically, when that's called for in times of great need, times of great danger, and times of great distress, to be able to rise to the occasion. A couple of days ago, there was a gentleman here and his wife, and they're very involved in education. they were talking about the greatest generation. That's a title of a book I think it was Tom Brokaw wrote about the generation that defeated Nazism with an enormous sacrifice. But they rose to the occasion. And in a certain sense, they were coming out of the roaring 20s, a life of great debauchery and indulgence, great turmoil. But they rose to the occasion and gave of themselves. And when one or two people start giving of themselves, that stirs a lot of other people, because somehow it's in our hearts that we're not fulfilled just looking at our own belly button, not just combing our own hair. We need to be out there serving others where the need is really hurting. There's a line that strikes me very powerfully in Paul's remarks to Timothy, when he says, bear your share of hardship for the gospel. In other words, it's not easy. There's a measure of rejection you may very easily and readily experience. There are difficulties. It's going to take a bit of sacrifice of self to handle the hard work when things are contrary to your desires. The hard work of raising a child that's being influenced by others outside the family in a very rough way. To bear our share of hardship for the gospel. And not everything will happen immediately the way we like. We won't have immediate success. Our share of hardship for the gospel. And the gospel itself refers to quite the share of hardship that even Jesus himself experienced. A lot of calumny. Evil talk about him. That takes a big toll on a person. And so we need to have strength interiorly to not get exhausted and deflated and paralyzed by contrary developments, but to have the nerve and the will and the openness to God's grace to persevere, to bear our share of hardship for the gospel. It's not easy to forgive, and maybe when you forgive, people even do worse things to you. To be able to bear our share of hardship for the gospel. When people destroy what you're building, to be able to bear our share of hardship for the gospel. People, God bless you. See you later, alligators.